welcome back to Beyond the Cowl. Today we are continuing our unit on circles. So I have a couple of circles here, and it's all about squaring up the circles today. So how to turn these circles into a square. And there are many reasons you might want to do that. You might want to be making some kind of bag or scarf or some kind of project that requires squares rather than circles, but you like the look of a circle and you might have some pretty circles. These are just the plain flat circle, but you might have some very pretty ones, and you might want to make them into something square. Squares are easier to join, but we are going to also show you at some point in a few days how to join circles as circles, not squares. But that's another thing. Today though, I'm going to show you how you can turn these circles into a square, quite simply. Okay, to start off, you will need some paper and a pen. Okay, so paper and pen is quite essential, or you may prefer to have a pencil and eraser so you can practice and make mistakes. And also some stitch markers or small pieces of yarn. Okay, so I've got 4 stitch markers here, which is enough for a square for your 4 corners. So the first thing you want to do is to count the number of stitches on your circle. So the easiest thing to do is pop a stitch marker into the first stitch. Now I like to make my joining section the corner. It just kind of makes it here, this is my section where I joined around. It just kind of makes it more into the corner rather than being sort of right out in the middle of the square. Okay, so I'm going to pop my stitch marker on that first stitch, or which is actually my chain 3, and then I'm going to count around and count how many stitches I have. Now I know this circle has 60 stitches. It's the same amount as this lilac one here. It's just slightly bigger because my yarn is a little thicker. This grey yarn slightly thicker than this lilac one. So I know I have 60 stitches. Okay, so on your paper you want to write 60. Okay, let me zoom in here so you can see. Okay, so we have 60 stitches, and then what you want to do is divide that by 4. And I'm going to try and hopefully explain this well enough for you, but also do have a look at the written pattern and instructions, and that's in our Facebook group. There is a link in the description box below to that, Beyond the Cowl on Facebook. Have a look at that and you will get full written instructions if you don't quite follow this, or if you just want some written instructions to back up this video. Okay, so 60 divided by 4 is 15. That's some nice basic maths, okay? And that makes it nice and simple. It's an even amount that divides by 4. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that first, and then I will talk about this one here, which does not divide by 4. Okay, so I'm going to do the simple way first, and then I'll talk to you about when it becomes an odd number. So I have 60 stitches here. This was started with 12 double crochet in the center, and then I increased it by 12 every time. So 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. Okay, so I have 15 stitches on each side. Okay, so this has 15 on each side. So what you want to do is count 15 stitches from where you placed your first stitch marker. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and place your next stitch marker in that 15th stitch. And then you want to do that around and place your next 2 stitch markers, and these stitch markers will, where they are, those stitches will be your corner. Okay, there we are. I've placed all 4 stitch markers, so they will be my corners. Now, depending on the size of your circle, will depend on what stitches you need to use to make it square. Now, the basic idea of squaring up your circle is, if we look at the circle, we have this higher point in the middle, and then it curves and gets lower. So we need to make taller stitches on these outside stitches and then come smaller into the middle. Okay, do you see that? If I pop a line, grab a ruler and pop this down to show you a line. So if I pop this ruler here, you can see that we have taller gaps here and then not much in the center. Okay, so we have to work tall stitches, get into short stitches, and then back out again towards tall stitches, and that's exactly what I've done here. So we turn this around here, so you can see I have some tall stitches, and then they get to shorter and shorter to a single crochet, and then back out to tall again. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, I have 15 stitches. So what I'm going to do is write on my paper, I'm going to do the 15 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, now this one here is my corner. Okay, and then there'll be a corner there as well. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in between each corner. Okay, so the best thing to do is find the center, so that will be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then mark your center, so you know that each side has to be a mirror image, so small stitches working out to larger stitches. Okay, now, okay, sometimes you won't have a definite center stitch, it will be a center 2 stitches. Okay, but whichever it is, make sure you mark your center. Zoom in slightly, so make sure you know where your center or center stitches are. Okay, and then you want to decide what stitches you're going to make. It is very common to make single crochets on these center stitches and to do taller stitches such as a treble crochet. This is US terms. Make treble crochets in your corners. Okay, so I'm going to mark the corners as a treble. Okay, so T for treble and then another T. I'm going to do 2 trebles and then a chain 2 and another 2 trebles. Okay, and this corner will be the same, 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles. Okay, so I know what my corners are going to be, and then you basically decide, working from the outside to the inside, what stitches you're going to make. And it's good to have the same amount of stitches as much as possible. And so if you've got, so you do 3 double crochet, 3 half double crochet, and so on, it's good to have kind of even amount of stitches. It just makes it a nice even transition along your edge. Okay, and also there is a stitch known as the half treble crochet. That's between a double and a treble crochet, and it's worked very simply. You do your 2 yarn overs to start, and then you insert your hook, yarn over, pull through as normal, and then you yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then instead of doing another yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, you just do a yarn over and pull through 3. Okay, so it's a 2 yarn overs to start with, and then pull through 2 and then pull through 3. Okay, so that makes a smoother transition between the trebles and the doubles. So I'm going to do a half treble at the edges to make that a smoother transition. So I've got H key for half treble, and I've got T for treble, and then I will have D for double, HD for half double, and S for single. Okay, so then you just have to see how many stitches you've got left. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side. So let's do 2 each of the double and the half double, and then that gives me 2 more for singles on each side. Okay, so each side has 2 singles, 2 half doubles and 2 doubles. Okay, can you see that there? And then we've got our half treble and our corner with the 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles. So that's a rough way of how you can work that out. You could also decide to do an extended single crochet for this one here. Entirely up to you. You could decide to use bigger stitches all the way along if you preferred. This could be you could do start with a double crochet. Let's do the middle, and then you could do 2 double crochets, and then a half treble, and then you could do treble, treble, and then in your corners you could have a double treble, chain 2, and then double treble. So you could literally make these as tall as you like. The difference with this is that instead of this being very close along here, it would sort of be out here. You'd have a taller stitch there, and that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. So it's entirely up to you how you choose to do this, but the simplest way is to do your 60, or your count your stitches, divide by 4, mark those stitches around, and then draw your stitches out. Make sure you mark your corners, and then have a work out how you'd like that to look. Okay, that's the very, very simplest way of how you can do it. And so I'm going to show you this one now, this particular pattern which I worked on this one. I will just take you through that in case this doesn't make any sense. I'll just take you through that and show you, and then I'll talk to you about how you can work it out if your count doesn't divide by 4. Okay, so because in crochet, if you're right-handed, you work right to left. We go around this way. I'm going to start here. So I am going to work backwards along here. Okay, so my corner is 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles. So I'm going to start in that corner where my joins are. Take out that stitch marker, join my yarn into that top chain, because that was my chain 3 that I started with, and just join this yarn with a slip stitch. Working into your chain is always a bit trickier. What have I done there? Let me do this again. The other way you can join your yarn also is to just pull a piece through and tie it. You can just tie it on, and that's totally fine, just as good as a slip stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 4 to be my first treble crochet. Okay, that's my first treble crochet, chain 4, and then I'm going to do a second treble. Oops, that was a double. Let's try that again. We will get there. I've had a week away, and now I've just got to get back into these crocheting videos. Okay, so then chain 2, and then I'm doing another 2 trebles in this corner. Those chain 2s just help it to turn the corner nicely. If you're not doing a chain 2, you most likely want to do an odd number of stitches, so that you can have, if you do an odd number, you can have 2, so if you did 5, you'd have 2 coming this side, 2 on that side, and then 1 in the centre. Okay, so always do an odd number of stitches if you're not doing a chain in the corner. Okay, so back to this. I've done my 2 trebles, chain 2 trebles for that corner, and now we're down to a half treble. Okay, so a half treble, which I was telling you about, is yarn over twice as you would for a treble. Go into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then now yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So slightly shorter, but not as short as a double crochet, just gives you a nice transition there. Okay, and now I've got 2 double crochets, 2 half doubles. Okay, so this is 1 in each stitch, 1 double, 2 double, 1 half double, 2 half double. Okay, and then I've got here, I've got 2 singles on this side. So 1, 2 single crochets, and that is halfway across our circle. So we're at the halfway point, the tallest point, and you can see how this is making it nice and straight across here already. So then we're going to do the reverse of this to do the next side. So 2 singles, 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, and a half treble. Okay, so 1, 2 singles, 1, 2 half doubles. I've missed a stitch somewhere. What have I done? Ooh, I've missed a stitch. Okay, after your corner, we have got here our half treble, which does our transition between the treble and the double. So let me show you that stitch. Now, the stitch next to your initial chain, I don't know if you've ever noticed, next to your initial chain 3 tends to sort of disappear slightly, so make sure you're going into that and not skipping a stitch. Okay, so yarn over twice as for a treble, go into that next stitch. Remember I said it might be slightly hidden. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 3, and that just makes it slightly shorter. Okay, and then if you look here, we've got 2 doubles, 2 half doubles, and 2 singles, and that's our halfway. So 2 double, 2 half double, and 2 singles. So again, 1 in each stitch, 1 double, oops, finish that stitch off completely, 2 double, 1 half, 2 half, 1 single, 2 single. So there we are. There's up to our halfway point. And you can see how this is making a nice straight edge along here. So now we're going to repeat this in reverse for this side. So we've got it here, 2 single, 2 half, 2 double. So let's do that. 1, 2 single, 1, 2 half, 1, 2 double, and then we've got our half treble and our corner. So let's do that half treble again. Yarn over twice, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and then you're back for your next corner, and you can see how this has made a beautiful straight line across the top. So simple to work out and just give you such a gorgeous straight line. It's just works so well. We've used this a few times in the 2018 Granny Square Cowl, which we had last year, 2018, and there is a link to that below, I believe, or I'll put one in there anyway. There's a few squares that we did this on for that, where we had a circle centre and then squared it out. Tree of Life was a very popular one for that. Can't remember what number it was, but it's very popular. So then you're back to your corner, so you would repeat this again. You would repeat this again around the next side, doing the corner where your stitch marker is. And that is as simple as it is for doing a circle that divides by 4. So that's how you do that one. How do you do it if your circle count doesn't divide by 4? Okay, so before we move on to the other circle, let me just show you. I finished this one just so you can see how it's looking. There we go. So nice and simple. Okay, so let's move on to the more tricky circle. Okay, so first thing first, pop a stitch marker in one stitch so you know where you've started counting, and then count around your circle to see how many stitches you have. Okay, so I have 42 stitches. Okay, I did this circle in single crochets. I started with 6 and then it was increased by 6 every round. So 6 is not instantly divisible by 4. Okay, certain numbers will always be divisible by 4. If you started with a 4, 8 or 12, every round will be divisible by 4 instantly. Okay, so if you want to know that your count will always divide by 4, just to square it off, then you want to start with a, let me write this here, you want to start with either 4, 8 or 12, and those counts would always divide by 4. Okay, 4's a bit small to start with, but 8 or 12 or 16 will always divide by 4 every single round. Okay, but starting with 6, which is quite a common number to start with, and then you are adding 6 every round. So I have done 7 rounds of 6, making 42. Now 42 divided by 4 is 10 and a half. Well, I don't have any half stitches, so where do I put my stitch markers? Okay, I have a couple of choices here for this. I could make an extra round, which, as this is single crochet, it won't add too much to the size. So I could add another round, and that would make it 48, which divided by 4 gives me 12 on each side. Lovely, nice, neat count of 12. Okay, so I could just do one more round and then have it so that it's 12 on each side. Okay, what if I don't want to make this circle any bigger? There are a couple of things that I can do. I can either make more than one stitch on a side to even it out, or I can do 2 stitches together. So I can do an increase or a decrease. Okay, let me show you how that works. Okay, so I have to decide where I'm going to have my corners. So to even this out, what this would be, let's just ignore that one and do this one here. Okay, so we'd have 2 sides of 11 and 2 sides of 10 stitches. Now if I did 11, 11 and then 10, 10, that would be more on one side than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count 11 and then 10 and then 11 and then 10. Okay, so even it out, 11, 10, 11, 10, to even out where those counts are. So I'm going to pop the stitch markers in there now, and then I'll see you in a second. Okay, I've popped my stitch markers in, and what I've done is I've written along here, let me see if I can go in closer, there we go. So I've put my C for corner and I put a Y there to know it's a yellow marker. Now I know on the previous one I said we'll read right to left, but I'm actually reading left to right this time because of how I wrote it. So hopefully not confusing you. So I've done corner and I put a Y there so I know that's the yellow start, because these aren't equal. I want to know where I'm starting. And then I've done 10 stitches in between. Okay, so I've got 10 stitches between here and the G for the green. So there's 10 stitches. So I've done 5, and then I've drawn my center line and then another 5. And then it will be the green stitch marker, G for green, so that's a corner. and then here I've got 9 stitches in between, so it's 10, 9, 10, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5th one is my middle stitch, and then I've got another 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 middle, and then 4, and then I've got corner, which is orange, and then it will be back to doing 10 stitches between the orange and the purple, which I haven't drawn here because it will just be a repeat, but then it will be the purple corner, and then it will be between the purple and the yellow for the 9 stitches. Okay, so I've got 2 sides, so I've got 10 and then 9 and then 10 and then 9. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, let me change colour pen so you can hopefully see this a bit better. Is this going to work? Yes. Okay, so I am going to do this in a very similar way to the way I did the previous circle, but this time I'm only going to go as far as doing a double crochet on the corners because it's not a very tall circle. Pop this here. Oops, get that up. It's not, it doesn't have a lot of, doesn't have a great variance. Okay, so I'm not going to go as high as trebles for this one. I'm going to do a double. Okay, so double on the corners. Okay, and then I'm going to use half doubles and single crochets. So the corners will be 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles. Okay, and then I will do a half treble, an extended single crochet, and then single, 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 extended single, half treble, half double, not half treble, half double, a half double. Okay, so that's quite straightforward. This one I am going to put an extra stitch in the middle. Okay, so it would be the same, 2 half doubles and then an extended single, 1 single. This side we've got our corner, so this is double, double, chain 2, double, double, chain 2, double, double. Am I out of screen? Sorry about that, folks. I'm just writing my corners in. This one's a half, extended single, single, and then here we've got 4 stitches. Okay, 4 singles. So I'm going to put 2 singles in this 1 stitch. Okay, the other option I could have done is on this side I could have done these 2 middle stitches as a single crochet 2 together. Okay, so I could do that as a single crochet 2 together, or here do 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Either or it would work, but don't mix them because then you'll have the wrong count. Okay, so I can choose one of those and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do the 2 single crochets in 1. So let me just show you that one now and then you will know what to do. You can continue. So let me get my yarn and hook ready again and let's get started. Okay, so I am in my first stitch, this one here, where I had the yellow stitch marker. Okay, and I'm going to do my first corner of 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Okay, so you can do your first double crochet however you prefer. If you prefer to do a standing double crochet, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to do a chain 3 and then do another double crochet in there. And then chain 2 and 2 more double crochet in that first stitch. Oops. Okay, so there's my first corner made. And then if we look back to our pattern, I'm going to do 2 half doubles. Okay, so we know how to do those. Make sure I take the next stitch. So 2 half doubles, 1 in each. Okay, now the great thing about designing this yourself and working up yourself and having a go is you can change your mind. Okay, so I have changed my mind. I've seen this looking quite near to the top already, so I'm going to keep this as a half. So I'm going to do 3 half doubles and then my singles and then 3 half doubles. Okay, so I've just changed that on my pattern. I'm not going to do the extended single crochet. I'm just going to do another half double crochet. Just decided that that would make it more even for the side, the amount of stitches. So you can just have a play and see how it looks, and if it doesn't look right you can undo it, try it again. That's the beauty of it, no particular pattern to follow. Okay, so I've got my corner and then I've got 3 half double crochets, and then I'm going to do 4 single crochets. Okay, so 2 were on one side and the other 2 were on the other side, just here. Okay, and that's where I could have done 2 together. And then I'm going to do another 3 half double crochets. Okay, and then in this stitch marker here, I'm doing my corner, 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 more doubles. Okay, and then 3 half doubles. So we're back on this side now, 3 half doubles. Okay, and then I've got 1 single, and then the next stitch, this is where I'm doing 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. 1, sorry if I was out of camera there, it's 2 stitches in 1 there, and then I've got 1 more in the next stitch to go with the single crochets, and then 3 half double crochets. Okay, and then we're back to the next corner of our double crochets. So let me undo the stitch marker and just do that corner. 1, 2, chain 2, and 1, 2 more. Okay, and this is how it is looking. There we go. So you can see we've got a nice straight edge, and you can't really see where I did that extra stitch, and we've got a nice straight edge here. It just means that if you then want to put another round on of another square round on, or whatever you want to do, it just means that your stitch count will be exactly the same on each side. Okay, so my next plan would be to start back on this side here, and so I've just done my corner, so then I would do my side with 10 stitches, and then I would do my side with the 2 in the middle, and that is how I would square up something that doesn't have quite an even amount of stitches. So I'll finish this one off and then I'll show you how it looks, and I think you will agree that you can't see where those increases are done, and equally you wouldn't be able to see if there was a single crochet 2 together. So your choice on which way you prefer. So I'll finish this up and then I'll show you. And there we go, all nice and neatly squared, and I don't think you would instantly or easily be able to tell which side had the extra stitch put in. Would you be able to tell? I don't think so. To the trained eye, maybe, but I think it works out beautifully. So whatever size circle you've got, whether you've made it in single crochets and it's not so big, or whether you've made it in double crochets and it's bigger, you can square your circles off beautifully. and it makes them perfect for joining, whether you want to make a scarf. So you could join these, you could even have a row of these, and whether you want to make them into a bag or whatever, it just makes them much more versatile and practical. So have a go, get your pen and paper out, start doing some little calculations. You might want a calculator for that as well. And just give it a go. Don't forget, you can always make an extra round to make your circle the right stitch count. And remember as well what I said, I've lost my paper now, that if you start your round and increase in multiples of 4, 8, 12, 16 or bigger, it will always divide by 4 evenly. You won't have to do this kind of calculation that I did on this one. Okay, so enjoy having a go, and I'd love to see what you've done with your circles. So pop a photo in the Facebook group, or if you're on Instagram, then hashtag #BeyondTheCal, and I would love to see what you've done with your circles. And as much as I love circles, I think a circle in a square just looks really, really cool. Love that look, and I'm really loving this little tiny one as well. So yeah, have a go, have a play, and enjoy. And until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.